Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo. Dom Izzo.
Live on location. Appreciate everybody bearing with us here as we are live at Skip Butte Stadium on the campus of North Dakota State College of Science, continuing a tradition that we've done the last few years of bringing you live to Cody Mauch's annual football camp. The big man is here himself to join us to start the proceedings on. First off, thanks for whipping up a beautiful weather day for us.
Oh, God, can't beat this right here, I know.
How you been, big man?
Good, yeah, been good. Just, I don't know, kind of was grinding away at the off season, and nice little month break here now, so.
I want to get to you in just a second, but this I know is a big deal. This is the third one doing it. When I was down here for year one, I think you were blown away that how big it was. Now it's become a deal. Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, we've tried to slowly add more kids because that's always the biggest complaint. Oh, I didn't get signed up, and my kid didn't get signed up, and it's like that's the one thing you fight, is, well, number one, you kind of run out of space doing this stuff and having the people to help. But, yeah, it's crazy what it's already come to in 3 years, and excited to do it now.
Yeah.
I think the kids are going to love being on the turf, small town, North Dakota, Minnesota kids. They don't get to play on turf, so I think they're going to be pretty excited about that.
So the last couple of years, we've been across the street. We've been over by the high school, basically on an open field over there. Tell me how this came about of coming over at NDSCS.
I don't know exactly how. We were still planning to do it over there, and I think it was, more of a logistics thing than anything, whether they were doing construction or something over there, and then they kind of mentioned, hey, we could do it at the field here, and I'm like, honestly, that might work better. So I think it'll go well. We're working with one field versus the three we had last year, so I think we'll be able to make it work, and everyone will have a fun time.
I know you lined up the practice fields though over here behind the stadium, so for any excess over there, that kids are going to be able to go over there.
Yeah, we got a couple fields just on standby. We're hoping that our layout's going to work, but it's one of those things you don't really know until you do it.
I haven't been here since they've turfed it. It's fantastic.
Oh,
I remember being here, and you growing up not too far from here. This was sometimes a disaster zone at the end of September.
This is my first time seeing it too. I kind of knew they had this done, and I think my last time here was probably track meets in high school. So it looks a little bit nicer than it did back then.
How many kids you have signed up here today?
I don't know the exact number. I want to say it's 300.
Wow.
I think we're doing about 150 a group, but I don't know if that's for sure. But yeah, so it's whatever it is, however many we cap it at. That cap hits within a day of the camp getting the link getting sent out.
To hear you say that, have you processed like, wow, that beyond? You were hoping for like 10 when you first started this a couple years ago, right?
That's what my first year doing it. I'm like, if we could get 100 kids, that would be absolutely fantastic. And I think we had 200 the first year, and that was kind of because we didn't know what we were doing. We just kind of capped it at that, and then we realized, hey, we could probably do a couple more. So we try to add a little bit more. A little bit more every single year, and it's crazy how far it's come in 3 years.
What's the age range, Cody, for people that are watching here today that are, hey, okay, maybe next year I want to sign my kid up?
It's there's two groups. The first group is 3rd through 5th graders going into 3rd grade to 5th grade, and the second group is 6th to 8th graders. So keep it in that elementary, middle school range for now.
What was the first time you remember doing anything football related? How old were you?
I mean, outside of just fooling around in the yard with my brother, I think probably the Phil Hansen camp when he had those in Wahpeton here. And I was probably about the same age. I bet I was, a 3rd grader or so. So that was probably about my first memory. And that was kind of, why I wanted to start doing this was I remember how sweet it was to go and do that. And you see Phil Hansen even for a little bit and you get the T-shirt. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. So when I had the opportunity to do that, it is so cool.
What has been reaction from the kids that have come up to you? They're probably in awe to meet you, but say to do this, I'm sure you've had a couple that have done it both the first 2 years. What's that reaction been like to you?
It's awesome. I mean, they always, show out, have a great time, but it's like the best part is when, we're just out in the community and I'll get, random kids just coming up like yesterday we were at the Pizza Ranch for Father's Day and a kid comes up and he's like, hey, I'm going to your camp tomorrow. And it's stuff like that, there's, it'll be the, if we're back for a bye week or something and I'll see a kid, he will tell me the story of coming to my camp. And I just think that's so cool that they remember it and it sticks with them. So, no, that's the coolest part is just you can see how much, they enjoy it. So.
You've enlisted everybody, your old high school coach, your dad's. I mean, tell me about people that's, want to reach out and help you with doing this.
Yeah, honestly, Monilaws, my high school coach, it was kind of, he brought the idea to me the first year. He said, hey, we should do something like this. And so he's, he spearheads it with me. So, him and I are on every call and every, email chain, getting stuff lined up. And then I just, I try to get NDSU guys to come down, understandable now. Guys are busy and work, it's a Monday. Guys are working. Try to get the NFL guys, but they have hectic schedules. So I, really, the local high school, coaches and there's some Breckenridge football players and Wahpeton and Hankinson guys. So just try to get, I don't know, really anyone to come out and help.
They're not, Bison guys blowing you off? What are they doing? What's everybody doing here? Come on.
I was bad this year about reaching out, and I feel like such a bother asking, hey, do you want to come down to Wahpeton and do this camp? But I got Nash Jensen's coming today, so that'll be really thankful for him.
Well, your guy Zabel became a big deal since he was here last year.
Yeah, it's
holy
crazy.
cow!
You win a Super Bowl and you can't come to a kids camp anymore. So yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
So tell me about the last 365 days. Been a lot. You got married. Obviously, you had this last year. The season goes, and I want to get to what happened. How do you encapsulate the last year?
Yeah, I was actually, so yesterday was our anniversary, and I was talking to my wife. We're like, really, this was probably one of the worst years ever. Like, just thinking just like some personal stuff, and then I played 2 games, and then I'm out the entire year, and we're like, we really got thrown a lot of crap this year. But I mean, I guess I don't know what to say. The first 2 games were going good and whatnot, and then you get a season-ending injury, and that just throws a wrench in your plans.
So I'll get to the injury in a second. Tell me first on the other side of it, how you feeling now, going through OTAs, mini camp, and how everything went there?
Yeah, it was good. The first I was so excited. Like I've never been this excited for an off season because I just wanted to get back out there, and so the first couple weeks were I guess probably more in my own head, like, how's the knee, how's my injury doing? And, the first couple times, we started practicing in the off season, that was what I was thinking about was how's my knee going to do? And it was great. It went well, everything was good. And especially by this point, after, 15, 20 practices that we had, I feel 100%. So that's kind of my goal I was shooting for. And now I'm, again, never been as excited for a fall camp as I have right now.
When did you get out of your own head? Was it right away? Did it take a OTA or 2 to say, okay, I'm good?
It took a few, because, you do all the rehab stuff and you do, running and O-line drills on air, but that's not really, that's a tough gauge. So it was probably the, second or third OTA practice where you're blocking and you're kind of anchoring against a bull rush or something, and that's kind of that was when I'm like, oh, you know what, my knee feels like I didn't even realize it until after the day. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So it did take a couple days of actual football stuff to be like, we're back.
So we have the video from the Monday night game. You guys are playing Tampa, or you're playing Houston. You actually make a huge block on a touchdown. Is that when it happened?
No, that was after it happened. So it had happened right at halftime, and I just was kind of trying to torque a guy and block him, and I just kind of he fell on top of me, and my knee just buckled in, and that's when it happened. So again, at the time, I thought I landed on it weird, or I took a helmet and it was a bone bruise or something. I didn't expect it to be a torn meniscus. So I played the rest of the game just kind of, I could tell it hurt, but it was, it's football. You get stuff all the time. I didn't think it was anything that serious. So it happened, relatively early in the game.
So you play after so you fly back. Are you in pain? Like, tell me about that afterwards.
Again, like not much more pain than I was in, after most games. So it was tough. I was limping and it was tough. But I get even if you get a minor, MCL sprain or something, it hurts. Like that hurts. So they're like, we did an X-ray and it was all good. And I'm like, okay, we're good. And then they're like, well, let's get an MRI just to be safe. And that's when we went and they're like, yeah, it's actually fully torn in 2 places.
Wow.
So, yeah, I did not expect that because it hurt, but I mean, no worse than any other stuff I'd had. So, yeah, it was just kind of a bummer.
Patella and meniscus, right?
Yes, yeah. So,
what's the reaction when the doctor tells you that?
I was like in disbelief. I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, I was like trying to point back. I'm like, but the X-ray was good, like, right? Like,
you're bargaining with them?
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Like, they're like, yep, it's.
Wow.
And then they kind of said the 2 pass. You know, we could, because the thing about these knees is they don't know until they go in and scope
Right.
it and see what's going on. So I was going into the surgery not knowing if I'm going to be out, and they, you know, trim the meniscus. I don't know if I'm going to be out for 2 weeks or the entire season. So I get out of surgery, and that's when my wife was like, yeah, you're done for the season. And that was like, oh my God, I was all looped up on pain meds. I was probably crying. Like, it was just, that was tough news.
When you came out of it and realized just what was the action? Like, I can't play again?
I didn't know. I've never dealt with, you know, especially serious injuries. I've never really dealt with missing any time. So I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to navigate this rehab process and whatnot. And like, that was kind of my first thing was I thought was like, shoot, this is going to be a long, you know, 6 to 8 months.
Week 2.
Exactly. I'm like, we just, you know, started. I'm feeling great. Like I was playing well. And yeah, that was, so it's just the ultimate bummer. And I don't know, all the emotions just kind of hit you.
So you have the surgery, are you like sitting on your couch a couple days later, like, well, now what?
Exactly, because it's like, you know, I'm like still, you know, right away going to meetings and like I still want to be a part of it. That picks up a lot more. So I didn't watch practice. I had one time while they're practicing. That's when I'm doing my rehab for my lifts, and rehab runs into the meeting time. So I'm really not like seeing the guy. Like that's the worst part about the injury is how isolated it is. You know, you'll see them around the locker room and whatnot, but you're not like not out there with them. And like they come in from the field and they have all these inside jokes from the day, and I'm just kind of like lost and don't know what's going on. So that was the toughest part, was just how isolated like the feeling was.
What was the rehab process like? Consider this is the first major injury you've ever had. Describe mentally going through that, let alone physically what the challenge was.
It's tough because you have to, like, for me, I just set like so many like small goals, like getting off the crutches. That was a huge goal because I was on the crutches for 8 weeks, which 8 weeks, you know, sounds like a long time, but it feels like a really long time when you're the one on the crutches. And so it was just, you know, small victories here and there. And there were so many times where, you know, I was 10 weeks out of the surgery. Obviously, it was bothering me. And I'm like, it's never the same. Like, that hit me so many times. I would just think, like, oh, my gosh, it's not healing and whatnot. And they're like, just trust it. This is all part of it. So I had a lot of just mental fights with myself about, you got to trust the process, trust the, you know, rehab time and whatnot.
Way easier said than done, right?
Oh, it is. It's like, exactly. Like, I always said that too. I'm like, oh, you know, just do your rehab and it'll be fine. But when you're the one feeling what it's like, you're like, I'm never going to be the same.
So did you go to any home games? Or you couldn't do that just mentally?
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I'm here, but I can't play.
While I was still on crutches, so for the first 8 weeks, we have a little, you know, they have a box for the injured guys and the practice squad guys. So I would go up there because they didn't want me on the field just with the crutches, and you know, a play comes to the sideline,
wipe you out, right?
Tough to get out of the way there, and so that was tough. Was watching the game from up in the box, and eventually I did get to be back on the sideline, and that was nice. That was nice to be a part of it, be a part of the, you know, the talks, the adjustments on the sideline. But it took 12 weeks probably before I was able to go do that again.
Watching the team play, and especially how the season played out, like, I can be out there, I can help us win. How tough was that?
That's such a hard feeling because, you know, you have the most faith in the guys that are out there playing, but also selfishly and competitively, I'm like, I could be out there making a difference, and like just little things like that. That was so like, you feel so helpless not being able to do anything about it.
When did you feel? Was it after the season was done 100%, or was it at the tail end of the season?
It was a little bit longer than the end of the season. It was probably about end of February, because the last, you know, 2 months, everything was feeling great. It was feeling fine. It's just I lost so much muscle mass on that leg. So that was the biggest thing, was building back the quad strength and hamstrings, and, you know, really, really hammering those things. So it was probably the end of February where I was right before OTA started up, where I was like, okay, we're good to go.
So the season plays out. Obviously, comes down to the last game. you guys win and then have to wait and get help, and obviously that didn't come.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Like, we did our part, and again, we shot ourselves in the foot. It was on us, but you win your last game, and then now you're watching on TV, hoping that this team beats that team, and that's the most helpless feeling right there. Is hoping someone else wins so you can get in. So, that was just a bummer of a weekend.
To have it play out. The season it's end of the season. How much are you in conversation with Coach Canales, the entire team of, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what we're, draft purposes. Are you a part of that or no?
No, we're not. They kind of, they handle all that. Yeah. We even it comes to draft night and we really have we don't even know what needs we're trying to take. Because sometimes you might need a defensive end, and then a guy like Emeka Ibuka comes up. Yeah, we're going to take that receiver.
Guy, right?
So we have no idea, and it's almost like we're looking at each other like, don't take a guard in the first round.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's like
right?
little selfish things like that. But no, the draft play, and then. But it all works out the way it's supposed to because, we don't make the playoffs, obvious bummer, but then we draft a guy like we drafted Ruben Bain in the first round who absolutely fantastic
Tell me
player.
about going against that guy.
Goodness,
huh?
He is his whole knock was the short arms coming out of college, and I understand that.
I
got knocked for that as well.
Yes.
And, just through the OTAs and minicamp we had so far, the short arms don't matter for him. He is an absolute beast, so I'm excited to see him work this year.
So game 1, week 1, you're all clear, ready to go?
100%, yeah. 100, took every snap I was supposed to this offseason, and now it's just focusing on week 1.
Tell me about that. Even the first preseason game, you think you'll get much work? And if you do, are you going to rip the door off the hinges for that first one?
Because we don't know. Preseason, usually the starters will play, maybe one of the games or something. So we're not exactly sure when we're going. But I'm excited. Like you're never that excited for preseason. I just want to get back out there and play competitive football again.
I'm just looking ahead here at the old schedule. Did you look at that when they come? You pay attention to that now. Say, hey, the Vikings are coming to Tampa this year.
I've been excited about that one.
Bet.
We got so many Vikings fans here, and honestly, the reason I know the schedule so well is my dad's always on us about, hey, these people are coming, and we got he's trying to figure out tickets and whatnot. So and who's staying at the house this weekend. So it's the Vikings at home that's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if you got any weird. Do you have any weird trips this year?
Not really.
Okay.
We looked to schedule. I think the furthest we go might be Chicago.
That's
so
all
we
right.
got a pretty good travel schedule.
The Packers are coming to Tampa. That's going to be a big deal.
That'll
That's
be
pretty
fun.
Cool.
No, it's better. Last year they went to L.A. and then Seattle, so about the 2 furthest away games you could go to. So yeah.
Couple last things here before I let you go, and I know you got a ton to do. Did you have family in the stands in Houston that night? Was anybody at the game? Besides your wife?
I don't know if anyone was that game. I think because I remember kind of leaving the locker room, and I don't remember going to see anyone after. I don't think anyone was. So I literally, saw the doctor after the game, and then I kind of limped my way to the bus, and I think that was it. So no one was there.
So we're gonna have your dad on next. What was that conversation like to have on the phone? Like, hey, I'm done.
Well, that was right away. I called my dad, called my brother, and I'm like, hey, I kind of banged my knee, and they could tell because you could tell watching. I was limping between plays. They're like, yeah, we could tell, and I'm like, I don't think it's anything bad, so don't worry, And that was the thing they're thinking too is they're like, oh, we're not going to go to the Houston game because we're going to go to these games throughout the year.
Yeah.
And then that happens, and it kind of just throws a wrench. You don't know when your last snap's going to be for a year. So, but then I call him the next day. I'm like, yeah, it's torn and I need surgery. And he's like, what the heck? I thought we were good. And I'm like, you're telling me.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I know you're in the submarine, but I got to ask about hearing the news on NDSU moving up to FBS and going to the Mountain West Conference. Where were you when you heard it? And give me your thoughts on it.
We have a little text group with a bunch of my buddies that I played with, and I remember kind of someone breaking the news and I think it's good. Like, we're all really excited for it, a new challenge and whatnot, and I'm excited. I'm excited to watch, nationally televised games now, so we'll be able to watch them from anywhere, and pretty excited to see how they do in that step.
Do you have any teammates that played in the Mountain West? You got any UNLV guys?
We have a UTEP guy.
Okay.
I got one of the linemen's a UTEP guy. So, and that's the thing too, is it's walking around the building now. It's like because someone mentioned something. Hey, NDSU, moved up, and I'm like, yeah, you better watch out. Hey, we're coming now. So we're in the big leagues. So
and I'm just. We're talking off air here about our plans about covering, like trip to Hawaii, a trip to Las Vegas, New Mexico. I mean, you got to go to Macomb and Southern Illinois. I mean, this is just different. I'm still trying to wrap my mind on it. We're 68 days out from it. I'm still trying to wrap my mind about what this is going to be like soon.
I know, and that's a good point. Like, these guys get to go to Hawaii and Vegas. I think the coolest trip we probably took was either like Delaware or
Tucson.
We played Arizona. Like that was cool, but now they're doing stuff like that every single Hawaii. Are you kidding me? Like, and it's not. Yeah, it's cool to go play in Hawaii, but the things I think about are how cool those plane rides and buses are.
Yes.
The long plane ride with all your buddies. So, God, they're gonna have fun.
Is this the last? Do you have anybody still connected that you either was on the team, or is that everybody graduated or moved on now since you played? Which makes me feel really old, by the way. It's only 4 years ago.
I know it does. I know, because I look at it now and I don't know.
I was trying to think of that. I don't know if
anything, they were probably the freshmen when I was coming in, but I'm not. I bet there was probably one class left now, so it's crazy.
It's wild in its own right. It's great to see you. I really appreciate you doing this. Thanks so much. I'm glad you're healthy, man. Congrats on doing this again and for hosting us again today.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Thanks, Tom.
Cody Mauch joining us, former North Dakota State All-American here to get us started here today. Let's break. We'll get reset up. We got our best of the weekend coming and show you what's coming up on our show here over the next hour and 35 minutes or so. We're back live in Wahpeton at Cody Mauch's football camp right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Just taking a deep breath here. Appreciate everybody back at our palatial studios at 301 A Street for getting us on the air, and, of course, here with Alex and Kyle on location. We're here at Skip Butte Stadium, NDSCS. I know we do our best of the weekend intro. We'll get to that in just a second. Thanks to Cody for joining us. We got some breaking news off the hop as well, that Dallas Mavericks have hired Dusty May to be their next head coach. Dusty May, of course, is the national champion head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. So here you are on June 22nd that Michigan has lost its men's basketball coach to the NBA. That means now a 15-day portal window will open for Michigan. Meanwhile, for Dallas, think of this. The Mavericks just hired Masai Ujiri, who was the GM of the Toronto Raptors when they won the NBA championship in 2019. They have Cooper Flagg, who was the NBA Rookie of the Year. Now they got Dusty May. Get the Timberwolves to the Eastern Conference as soon as possible. That's, again, I'll just reiterate on that. All right, let's do our best of the weekend. We'll do it as quick as we can. We'll start with baseball. We have one last collegiate game for the 2025-26 academic year. It's tonight in Omaha. That's because North Carolina forced a Game 3 yesterday in Omaha against Oklahoma. Big reason why, former North Dakota State shortstop Jake Schaffner. He was right in the heart of things yesterday. He had 3 hits, scored a couple of runs in UNC's win over Oklahoma after the Sooners took it to UNC in Game 1 of the best of 3. North Carolina had some payback yesterday with a 6-2 final score win. Schaffner, by the way, 2 runs driven in, had a walk as well, hitting .355. We have to talk about his draft potential over the next couple weeks because there's a good chance that the former Bison first-team selection is going to get picked sometime soon. He was on base all over the place yesterday. North Carolina got some great pitching as well out of their bullpen to get a 6-2 win over Oklahoma. That sets up the winner-take-all game. That's tonight, 6 o'clock on ESPN. Make sure you see that. No Dodgers tonight. Make sure that's on your other screen because it's the last collegiate event we got going. We'll see who ends up taking the championship. Speaking of baseball, our friend Minnesota Twins, I don't know what the heck's going on, but they just keep on playing pretty good baseball against teams that aren't very good. The Twins over the weekend took 2 or 3 from the Diamondbacks. Included in that on Saturday night, if you didn't stay up, and I don't blame you because they're playing the Diamondbacks, Minnesota scored 10 runs in the top of the 5th inning. Victor Caratini started things with an RBI double. Byron Buxton hits a grand slam, puts him up 12-0. Caratini came up again, hit a 2-run single, made it 14-0. Mind you, the score started with 6-0 heading to the top of the 5th. Buxton hit a 402-foot home run to make it 12-0. Caratini hits a 2-run single, makes it 14-0. Ryan Kreidler hits a 2-run triple, 16-0 in favor of the Twins going to the bottom of the 5th inning. They ended up winning 16-8 was the final. And again, we've talked about this for the better part of a month, month and a half on the Buxton All-Star starting gig. And I know Corey Provis talked about this as well with Sam Getzinger last week. Buxton's hitting .273. He's got 25 home runs. I know the Twins are what they are. They're 3 games under 500 on the year. But the voters out there have any sort of sense, and that might be asking them too much to consider the fact of what he has done so far this season. He's been absolutely amazing. Twins are back home, as I mentioned. The Dodgers are coming. It looks like Ohtani is going to pitch. He just had a baby over the last couple days. He'll be back for this series. That's be some must baseball over the next 3 nights at Target Field with the Dodgers coming into town. Last thing, we wrap up best of the weekend and we get our show off and rolling here on a real big foot. Congratulations to Wyndham Clark. Yesterday, the United States Open wrapped up at Shinnecock Hills. I would tell you that the attitude around for golf fans, and I consider myself one, was kind of bleh, that he won it, and the reaction from fans of wanting to hit it in the bunker. I heard some yell hit in the water. Sam Burns put on a heck of a show yesterday. Ended up finishing a couple shots shy of the championship. Clark wins a second U.S. Open in 4 years. He won it in 2023. We talked about what happened last year at Oakmont. He misses the cut. He tears apart a locker like he's a 10-year-old kid. He got banned from the course. I think there's a lot of hard feelings about that. He didn't really apologize for it afterwards. He finally has had a comeuppance here over the last little bit. I think there was some really hard feelings over him winning, and the fans let him have it. There were some that were rejected. If you were following on social media at all yesterday, you would have seen that there were some that were escorted out by the United States Golf Association members. It got ugly. He wins. It's not necessarily a universally liked win, but it happened, and he's now got 2 major champions. He's got 2 U.S. Opens. That's you're already now in a pantheon of great golfers that just are not around. So it was a very odd championship that he won yesterday. We'll have much more golf chatter throughout the week as we get ready for the Ritter Amateur Championship starting on Friday. We'll be live at Moray Country Club on Friday's show in anticipation of the first round coming up later that day. All right, let's break. We'll come back. We'll get set up. Joe Mauch's going to join us. We got a full lineup of guests. You mentioned we had Cody right off the top. Cody's dad, Joe, is going to be here. Jason Monilaws is going to be here. Hankinson head coach. Reggie Jackson's going to be by as well. NDSCS athletic director. I believe Wade Gilbertson's going to stop by as well. Wahpeton head football coach. It's a great day for football here on the 22nd of June. The sun is out, light wind. It's going to be a great day for a camp out here in Wahpeton. It's great to be back from vacation and having a good show here to start this week. So let's break. We come back. Much more live on location here at Wahpeton at Skip Butte Stadium. We'll continue live on WDAY Extra, WDAY Plus at Inforum.com right after this.
This is Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic live on location here at Skip Butte Stadium in Wahpeton. Getting ready for the 3rd annual Cody Mauch football camp. Gets going at the top of the hour. First session from 10 to noon. Another session coming up later this afternoon. The brains behind the operation joins us here. Joe Mauch joins us, Cody's dad. I was talking to him about this off the top. First off, it's great to see you. I remember he was excited, to do it once, let alone this is year 3. Describe that of a chance to do this now for the 3rd time.
Yeah, he really likes it. I mean, it's nice that nothing, I mean, and some of the kids that maybe can't go here, can't go there, you have that opportunity, and he likes it. I mean, 3 weeks or so, and I think it's real good.
Tell me, from year 1, we were talking off the top of the show, like, well, hopefully we'll get like 10 kids. That I remember down here, you told me the first year it filled up instantaneously almost.
Yeah, the first year I think was full in 2 hours when it went on. So I haven't heard this year when it got full, but I know it's full both times, and it's pretty neat.
Have you seen kids that have been here for that have come back and have made this like a summer tradition now?
Seems like it. Yep. There's a number of them. Yep.
What does that mean to you to see that your son's had that kind of impact?
Yeah, it's pretty special, real special. Really proud of them and everything, and proud of him as, the person more than anything, and giving back and wanting to do this, I
So
guess.
he told, I remember the Phil Hansen camp story during the draft process. Do you remember taking him to that? What do you remember about that, if anything?
I don't. I was probably in the field working. That's probably what happened. But no, I don't. But I know he's mentioned that a number of times.
And the impact of it, though, describe that it was lasting. Here it is, 20 some odd years later, and now this is something he wants to do.
Well, it is. I mean, it's, I think back to when he did it, and I remember him going, I guess, and just, Phil Hansen, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's kind of the thing that, doesn't happen much around here, so it's been pretty neat.
All right, so we talked with Cody about the night he got hurt. Tell me where you were. Did you see it happen? And then you can take the story from there.
Yeah, we were not down there. We were watching on TV, I guess. And, no, really, we didn't know what happened. I mean, didn't know when it happened. I don't even know if he technically knows when it happened, I seen him, I guess we noticed that he had a little bit of a limp there at the end. But really, that was it. And then, talked to him after the game, and he said he tweaked his knee or whatever. And, again, not thinking much of it because, when that happens, you don't have a whole lot of pain when it's that way. And, then they went into surgery and didn't know if they were just going to continue tearing the meniscus off or if they could repair it. And, tearing the meniscus off, that's 3 or 4 weeks,
He'd be back playing with like a month.
Right. But if they got to repair it, then it's a year. Then it's just like an ACL tear or anything like that. Which, as bad as it was, it's good they were able to do that. I mean,
what was that phone call like? Dad, I'm done. Tell me about that.
That was tough. I mean, probably the biggest thing is I don't know if he missed any games all the way through. I mean,
I was going to ask you that. He never had a serious. I know never in college and high school I can think of he had a serious injury.
No, I don't think he has. I mean, I think that's kind of the first. Well, pretty much the first injury he's had. Like I say, I think that was the first game he missed. And so I mean, it was kind of a shock and disappointing, but. I don't know. Going into the surgery after that, well, he's got to have surgery, it. In a way, you're hoping that they can repair it because that's the best for him.
Yep.
On the other side, if they can't, then he's not missing much time. But, it's a good thing they were able to repair it.
How tough was that to, hang up the phone? Like, wow, that's a lot to deal with.
Yeah,
and not that he's alone, but,
right.
He's got to deal with this now, and he's going to be separated from his team.
Yeah. He said that was kind of the biggest thing. You really got to know the trainers and all that because, they were out there and he'd be looking out the window and see everybody practice and he's in there doing therapy and, but.
He says he's 100%. Tell me about that of being back here and just because never having an injury before, now getting back out there, there's obviously got to be some apprehension about that.
I don't know. He said after the first day it really felt good. He wasn't real sure how it would be. I mean, he said he was maybe a little bit jittery about it, but no, it was real good. And he said, that was the best practice we had because I didn't know what to expect, I guess.
This has been a lot. We were just talking off air. The last 365 days, he got married when we did this camp last year. That was that weekend. Have this unfold. You've had, the catbird seat. Tell me about what this last year has been like for him and his family.
Yeah, it's been a wild go. I mean, I guess they got married and, well, now they had a lot of time together. You know what I mean? But that's good. I mean, and I'm sure, he's never really had, well, I wouldn't even say it's a off time,
like downtime, right?
He never really had that because
he probably had
less.
Right?
I mean, even when the injury happened, he probably had. It was probably more time because he was doing therapy every day as compared to getting 3 weeks off here and some there. So yeah.
So he told me are you the guy who runs ticket requests like for the fam and friends? Is that how did you get nominated to that? Did you volunteer? How'd that work out?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just took it. I took it on, and it's tough. I mean, everybody's you never get no sure answer and all that. I don't know, but
so when the schedule comes out, is that like, all right, this is D-Day? Like, okay, here we go. We know when's when. How does that go for you?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Don't really. Actually, I just been kind of doing it the last 3 weeks here now. So I.
And the Vikings are on the is that's got to be like a red alert, right?
Yeah, I think that's the third game, so that'll be.
And it's in Tampa this year.
Tampa, yeah.
So is everybody coming out of the woodwork? Hey, Joe, I'd love to be able to go. What's that like?
A lot of people are doing that, and a lot of people like the first home game. It seems like that,
And the Packers are on it too, which I know that's got to be a hot commodity too, right?
Yep.
What do you do? You know what you have? Like, how many do you have to work with ticket wise?
I don't, and actually, if
Does it
it's
change?
6 or 8,
Okay.
Cody can get tickets. Then we just pay him or whatever. But he can get tickets. If it's more than that, I just been going to the lady that he kind of works
Okay.
with. Just easier to.
More importantly, what about for you? Like, what do you map out? Like these are the ones I definitely want to go. How do you determine that?
Yeah, well, in October I don't go to any
Yep.
for sure, and then after that it's try to get to most of them. But it's if Stacy, my wife, she only has 5 or 6 days off for teaching, so she kind of picks hers, and then I kind of been taking one of the kids, which is kind of nice to just have a little one-on-one time with them too. So
is there ones you saw here on the schedule? Like, all right, can't wait. We haven't done this one yet. This would be a fun one to go to, maybe.
Yep. No, that's right. And, yeah.
I was just looking on the schedule. I mentioned the Vikings are coming. The Packers are there. He was telling me earlier, just there isn't any far trips this year. Like last year, he missed out on L.A. and Seattle. There's not like that of this on the schedule.
No,
this year.
the schedule this year, the way games are very close, I would say, to Tampa, or within respect there, and
nothing overseas.
No. Yeah, and they haven't done that yet.
I was going to say, is that one you'd like to do or not so much?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to sit on a plane that long.
Well, it's funny because we were talking about plane trips on the buys and stuff, and that's how I ended my conversation with Cody. And now moving up to FBS, plane trips are going to be a heck of a lot longer now, going to Albuquerque or Las Vegas or Colorado Springs, and just not that. What was your reaction hearing the news on the Mountain West?
Oh, I think it's great. I do. I think they needed to do something. It seemed like the fan base was kind of going down. I think this will put it back up. More of most games are going to be competitive.
Yeah.
I would hope or think. And that's what fans want to see. I mean, fans come and then it's a 40-point game at halftime. That's no good either. And student section also. That's a big thing.
Yeah, it's crazy now. It's 4 years since his senior year, which is crazy. Do you still feel the attention is as hot as it was 4 years ago for him? Is it still like that down here when he comes back home?
It is.
That's
it's
amazing to me.
Yep.
What is that like? Even it's 4 years removed, he's still as popular as he was when he played.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. I mean, again, it's small town, so everybody knows everybody,
He told me was out to dinner. A kid came up to him and said, "Hey, I'm going to be at the camp tomorrow." What's that like to see that as dad?
It's neat. That's really good, And he always takes the time to talk to him and this and that. So I mean, it's pretty special.
What is your official job today besides wrangling cats? What do you got going on
I'm
today?
thinking I'll run the 40. That's a nice, easy job.
That's the one you're going to be in charge of today?
I think so, yeah.
It's great to see you. Happy belated Father's Day, by the way. Thanks so much for doing this. And have a great time and enjoy the rest of the summer, okay?
All right. Yep. Sounds good.
Joe Mauch joining us here on set as we're live down in Wahpeton. We'll take a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. Still a big second hour planned here live on location in Wahpeton. We're back on WDAY Extra right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Live here on location at Skip Butte Stadium. You're seeing Cody Mauch's football camp officially gets going at the top of the hour with 3rd to 5th graders, I believe Cody said, and then later today 6th through 8th graders will be out here this afternoon. We'll have more on this coming up on our news tonight. We've got another hour here coming up. We're going to have Jason Monilaws join us, Hankinson head football coach. We'll chat with Cody's old high school coach, and obviously up for a great year for Hankinson football. Made it to the North Dakota 9-man state semis a year ago. He was just at the Shrine Bowl this past weekend in Mayville. I'm sure he's got some stories about that. We'll chat with Money about that. Also, Reggie Jackson, I just saw us here, NDSCS athletic director. We got to talk about this beautiful field that's been renovated and what that has done for the football program. New head coach is coming for Science football this upcoming fall, so we'll talk with Reggie about that. We've got a couple other guests as well planned. Nash Jensen is here, former Bison All-American offensive lineman. We're going to wrangle Nash over here as well, talk with him and catch up on how he's doing as well. So plenty going on. Been an eventful last week. I had no idea that the World Cup fever would be as fervent as it is with people that aren't soccer fans. When I last left, the United States had not played a game yet, and we're wondering, could they even win one? Are they going to flame out of this tournament? Lo and behold, they scored 19 goals against Panama, and Paraguay, excuse me. I got to get my nations right. Against Paraguay, momentum builds. Then Friday they beat the Australians. We've already clinched the group. We've already into the next round, the knockout round. Now we're literally, my life is turned into who are we going to play And we'll dive more into that tomorrow when we're back in studio, because now the U.S. plays its final game on Thursday night, 9 o'clock at night, which I'm curious what the viewing is going to be for that against Turkey, and what the outcomes could be of who we could play in the knockout round going forward is completely – and the amount of people that are watching, not just the U.S. games, if you watch Brazil play, or Scotland has certainly been popular, France is roaring, Argentina with Messi, who's just been had a hat trick in his first game. Honestly, it has gripped people in a way that 1994 did. I remember that. That's when I got the soccer bug, and it hasn't bit me fully because I don't follow the Premier League of the Champions, but I follow that. And to see what it's done now is amazing to me. It really is. And it's going to be fun. It doesn't end until July the 19th. We still got another month more of it. And by the time it's done, we'll actually have football season right around the corner. So it's been fun to follow there. Just trying to catch up on a couple other things that went down and look ahead to this week. Obviously, the next couple days are going to be pretty Bison football heavy, knowing full well the NCAA Division I cabinet will meet starting tomorrow. That will, on a couple of big topics. One is the 5-for-5 eligibility will be voted upon. Everything that I've been told is that this is going to happen, meaning starting in August, that's when the clock will now reset. No more medical red shirts, no more red shirts, no more hardships. You get 5 years to play when you start college, and that is going to be a different deal for everybody. And that's just not football. That's all sports related. That's the first thing. The second one, Bison football related, is the waiver or the new rule that would be voted upon to now allow teams transitioning from FCS to FBS, North Dakota State and Sacramento State, most especially because they're making the move this fall, would be immediately bowl and postseason eligible if they reach a certain amount of wins. That is 6, and they'd be eligible to play in their conference's championship games. That is expected to be voted upon. From what I've been told, it's expected to pass. We had Gene Taylor in studio last week. Sam did an awesome job with that interview. Gene, of course, was on the Football Oversight Committee. If that gets moved through, very rarely does it not get signed off on. But that's the two major things we're going to be following starting tomorrow and on Wednesday. So here we are near the end of June. You think things are slowing down. It is not, actually. You got the World Cup. The NBA draft is tomorrow night, and now we find out that the national championship winning head coach has left Michigan for the Dallas Mavericks. So no shortage of things that we'll be discussing over the next week here on The Big Show. Let's break. We come back. We'll start our second hour. We'll track money down. I know the camp is getting going. We'll have Jason Monilaws, Reggie Jackson coming up. A big second hour planned here live on location in Wahpeton at Cody Mauch's football camp. Back on Hot Mic on WDAY Extra, WDAY Plus at Inforum.com. Back live right after this.
This is Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of Hot Mic live on location here at NDSCS. Cody Mauch's third annual football camp officially underway. You see the young ones out here running around. This is 3rd to 5th grade that get going for the next couple hours, and be back out here this afternoon for the older kids as well. I've been told the brains of the operation, Joe Mauch deferred, so he told me that you're, Jason Monilaws, are the brains of the operation. Is that accurate?
Well, I don't know about the brains part, but yeah, whatever, I'll take that.
It's great to see you, bud. How are you? Happy belated Father's Day.
Yeah, thank you. I've been good. Summer is I don't know, it's you look forward to it every year.
Then it's
and then
over, right?
Then it's over. It's the 4th of July, and I always judge my summer as once the 4th of July is done.
Dunzo, right?
You got to start getting ready for football.
Speaking of football, you were just up at Mayville at the Shrine Bowl. Tell me about, I know how much you love doing that, what that experience was like this past week.
It was actually a special opportunity for me, simply because Bill asked if I'd be the head coach. And I said, yeah, I would. I thought, I'd done it 6 other times, and it was always an assistant. And I'm getting towards the end of my coaching career and teaching career, and I thought, well, I might not get another shot at being the head coach. So I agreed to it. And, I had an alternative reason why, too, is because I wanted to thank the Shriners for the help they gave us with our daughter publicly. And so I did that on Saturday.
How emotional, how special was that?
It was tough.
Yeah.
And I told the story to the kids. Parker and Mason already knew it. And I told him the whole backstory and this and that. And I said, I probably will get a little emotional when I do this. And of course I did. But it's your family,
man, right?
you know,
Yes.
and I this is all I can say about the Shriners. They are amazing human beings with what they do. And I wanted them to know that. And then that we had no clue on how we were going to go about this once she was diagnosed with it. And then when we got to the point where we had to brace, I went to the first person I knew about it, and it was Mike McCall. You know, and then from Mike got a hold of Matt Sturleson. Matt got a hold of me, and within hours we had a appointment scheduled down in Woodbury.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
And then it rolled from there.
That's fantastic.
And then here on just this past June 2nd, we were going biannual, and we went in there, and then Dr. Vera looked at it, and he said, "Yep, it's at 22. It's been like that for over a year. This is a brace success, and you've graduated."
Wow.
So we're done.
Another emotional deal there, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's fantastic. That's the best news. We can just end the show with that. I saw the group you were up there, though, with. Tell me about that. Even Troy Mattern was there for the week, huh?
Yeah, you know, they really make the head coach look really smart. I mean, I've never claimed to be the smartest coach. I haven't. I've been blessed with talented kids, whatever it is, longevity. But Lord, you didn't have to hardly coach them. You tell them the concept, and I got it.
It's pretty good.
And you know, it was amazing. You know, that they wanted to know. And this might some of the past teams, but they wanted to know if they were the most talented group that I've ever been around. And
it's pretty hard. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Think back.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got to go all the way back to 2009. And I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty sure this is probably overall the most talent I've ever been around.
That's pretty good stuff.
And we were missing some really big dudes, too.
To have that experience, what was that? Was that almost like, I know you say July 4th is the kickoff, but now you're doing this here today. Like, all right, football season. I just looked today. August 21st is your first game. I mean, we're not that far away. I hate to do that to you.
No, I mean, we start on the 6th and so forth. Yeah, it's that when we were planning this, Dom, we were looking at a set of weeks here that Tud was going to be around, and I just sent the email and saying, well, I'm going to be gone this previous week, so if you have it then, I won't be able to be part of it. And Tud's like, well, no, we'll find a date.
Nice.
So that's why it popped over to where we're at now.
Tell me about being over here. I know we have been across the street. This is fantastic to be out here, actually on the football field.
Yeah.
How did that all come about?
That was about a 2 week ago thing, 2.5 weeks or so. Mark Kennedy called me and he said, "Hey, Money, what do you think about having camp over here?" I said, "Well, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's not really up to me." So we talked back and forth, and I said, "Well, I'll call Todd and see what he says." And so I called Todd, and he was just getting ready to golf for, I believe, a bachelor party. And I said, "Hey, here's the deal. What do you think?" And he said, "Yeah, I think that'd be all right." So then I got a hold of Braden, and Braden said, "Okay, great."
It's Cody's agent, by the way. Yeah.
Yep. And so I said, then we have to just push it out that we're switching it over here.
And it looks like the word got out because it's packed here. And the neat part about it here, for parents that are over my left shoulder, they can be able to watch in the stands, which is pretty cool.
Yes, instead of standing.
Yes, or bringing their lawn chairs or anything like that. They're all set and ready to go. And and I haven't been down here. We talked when we got here. This is my first time seeing it with turf. This is fantastic now.
It's beautiful.
I can get off of my soapbox now of having state playoff games on turf all over now, right?
Well, I'm with you.
I know you're on board with that.
From quarterfinals on.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
Talk about.
You don't have to convince me.
Speaking of quarterfinals, you were a semifinalist last year. Tell me about last year's season and how special was that to have the kind of run you guys did last year?
It was awesome. I knew we were going to have a good team.
Yeah.
And I knew at some point it's going to come down to Lemoore or
New Rockford.
Okay. And as the season went on, things just started to click and they fell into place. We had that little challenge from South Border. You know, they did a really good job. We jumped on top of them, and then they worked their way back into the game, and we ended up winning it. So that was, I guess, that was one of the bigger tests we had. The Hatton one debacle, that was just, I don't know what happened there, but that was a good game for us right before we went into the playoffs. And then from that point on, you know, we're seeding the schools and this and that, and we ended up as a 5 seed, which I know we weren't the 5 seed, but that is what it is. And I was okay with it, because we were going to have 2 home playoff games, which in the playoffs, it's at least the first one. If you have that first home game, it's so much better. The vibe, the attitude, everything, and then go on the road. But we got those 2, and then we knew it was going to, what the draw was going to be, and we just started prepping.
Yeah.
And the game, well, number one, it was the coldest game I've ever been in,
really,
other than in college. With the wind chill, it was 11 degrees, and it was cold.
So there's the answer of why we start so early. Is that right? The second week of November. There you go. You're dealing with that.
But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I've always been an advocate to take the semifinals into the dome, too.
I'm okay. You know, twist my arm on that one. I'm with you. I'll do that too.
Yeah. And the cold, everything that was with it, I believe we had a pretty good game plan.
Yeah.
You know, we had to stay within a score of them. If we got 2 behind, we were going to struggle. At halftime, we were sitting good. And second half, they got ahead of us a couple touchdowns, and then we're chasing them the rest of the way, and so forth. And in the end, you could say the better team did win, which they were.
When you have a season like that, you mentioned you're nearing the end of your coaching career, which I hate to hear, but does that rejuvenate you? Say, man, this is why I do it.
It was probably mid-season where I don't know, it was just a different feeling. It was like, we got something special here. And it just kind of changed my mindset, and I was actually diagramming some plays, something I hadn't done in a long time, you know, things like that. And Hayden runs the offense, and so I was drawing up stuff based off of that for 2 points, because I've been calling the extra points. When we don't convert, it's my fault. So no one to blame but myself, you know.
Head coach and special teams coordinator, right? It falls under that jurisdiction. Look ahead to 2026 real brief for your squad. What do you think, and how do you build off of that? Because it's year to year in high school football. I know that.
It is. The guys we graduated were good football players. Our senior class coming in is going to be pretty solid. You know, Cade Hentz is back. He's an all-state linebacker and maybe an all-state running back this season. I don't know. He's just a dude. And we have Big Trev. He played a lot. Griff, our center, he played a lot. We have things in place. You know, with Connor Mauch and Jacob Wallach, they got a lot of time as a freshman. And then Damon Mauch was also in that rotation. So those kids have a lot of reps. We're going to be I'll tell you, our strength's going to be our O-line. I mean, we're basically back with our O-line.
Good place to start.
Right. Damon will most likely be the quarterback, so there's going to be some growing pains there. He's not going to be a prolific pass runner. He's going to be more of a up and down north-south guy runner. And we're going to have to find some kids within the sophomore class. And our once we get past those upper classes, the numbers really start falling off at our school. And so a couple years down the road, you know, we might be fielding 14
That's
kids.
tough. That's really tough.
It is, but it's nothing that's not new to us.
I know. When we did the whole draft build, I can't believe it's 4 years now, of how the buildup was of Cody Mauch as a high school football player. And I dug a video out this morning of him playing in high school. For maybe new viewers or don't know, for people that don't know, what was he like as a high school football player?
Well, all the Mauch boys got a little bit of a goofy side on them, you know, a kind of a joke kind of a guy, you know, and things like that. He was very awkward. when he was young, coming in as a freshman and stuff, because he was skinny and he just grew so fast, and he got all lanky and whatnot. And like I told you before, when he got into that sophomore junior year, this kid's he's going to be a good football player. You can see it.
Yep.
His brother Carter was a good football player, and so you could see that in him. When he graduated high school, you would have never said he's going to be playing professional football, but his senior year, I guess you could say, was a milestone senior for him. I mean, that's what got the attention of the coaches.
Would you have said he's going to be an All-American at North Dakota State when he was leaving his senior year at Hankinson High School?
Not that, but I knew that he could play at that level. I knew it just because of his build. And that's what NDSU is recruiting,
right,
and so forth,
and still recruiting in the 9-man ranks.
Yeah, and Hedberg knew about him before because he came down every week, or not every week, every year, and we visited and stuff, and he would see different kids and this and that, and he'd want to know who this kid is. And I mean, when Ray Sean was a 7th or 8th grader, we were in for PE, and he said, who's that over there? And I said, that's Ray Sean Earl. And he's like, boy, he's pretty athletic.
Yes, he was. Yes, absolutely right on that. Now, I know you're pretty busy in the fall, but do you ask Joe for, hey, is there a couple of tickets? Is there a chance for me to go to a game? Do you worry about that, or you can't really get away?
No, I literally cannot get away.
Yeah.
Once football's over, I call it popcorn season, because the football team takes care of the popcorn and pop during the volleyball season.
Yep.
And I run it. I'm in charge of it. And then throughout the winter basketball season, we're doing the same thing. And then we keep that profit for our football athletic equipment fund we have. The
last thing before I go, and I talked with Cody about this off the top, and you've been around him almost his entire life. Him getting hurt is an anomaly. He's never been hurt before.
Been hurt.
I mean, describe that. It took to the National Football League before him to actually get a pretty serious injury that he had.
Right. And let's put it this way: he beat the odds.
Yes, absolutely. At that position, totally.
Yes, and I guess you could say at some point it's going to happen for most of these professional players, and with his work ethic, he's going to be ready to go. What
are you in charge of today? What do you got?
I am an official rover. I that's kind of how what I was at the Shrine Week, but. I don't need to do this.
That's CEO for the head coach.
Right,
that's the CEO. So you can say that for today too. I don't know how that'll go over down here, but you can try.
I mean, I don't need to do anything. I don't. There's so many kids. There's enough kids here that we get help with, and
it's fantastic.
And I could just walk around and enjoy the day
and do a couple of minutes with us. It's great to see you as always, Money. Thanks so much for doing this one. Be well, and we'll talk when football gets going. Okay.
All right.
Enjoy that little bit of summer you get.
Yeah. Once we get back from the lake, we're all in.
What I say, after July 4th, it's over after that.
We're all in.
Jason Monilaws joining us, Hankinson head football coach here on set. We'll break. We come back. Reggie Jackson's around here somewhere. NDSCS athletic director. We'll visit with him about the changes going down here at Science and much more. Live in Wahpeton. We're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Live on location here at Skip Butte Stadium in Wahpeton. Cody Mauch's third annual football camp just getting underway. One of two sessions, another one going later this afternoon. Great to have Reggie Jackson join us here on set, NDSCS Athletic Director. We're renting the place from him here today. Great to see you. But first, tell us about when did you hear that the camp was going to come over here, how big a deal this is for you guys?
Well, this is anytime we can get kids, students, anybody on campus, it's always a benefit to NDSCS, and so we love having them here. We had talked about it off and on. Last year when we were putting the turf in, it was off limits. Now that the turf is in, now we can do it, and as you can see, it's a beautiful day, because if it would have been one of those 90-degree days, that turf's going to be 110. It might be a miserable day. But
let's talk about this. This is my first time seeing it in person. I knew the project is going in. I talked to you about it. To see it reality, what has this been for the school? What's it meant for athletics around here?
Well, we have a lot of people that have a lot of jobs on campus, and having turf, for maintenance, it makes it a lot easier.
Totally.
Don't have to pay. We can have soccer now. We don't have to worry about painting lines and all that stuff. So we've got it lined for soccer. We're going to add men's soccer here in 2027. So we'll have men's and women's. So yeah, it's everybody says game changer, that gets used a lot, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
We can practice longer. The snow melts faster. Baseball was out here practicing this. Softball was out here practicing this spring. So it's a heck of a deal.
What was it like to see the football team go out and play on it, though, for that first time?
I loved it. It was, it's nothing against our natural fields or anything, but just to just get the team out there in our black uniforms and the color scheme, and I just loved it. Yeah.
For the guys, what was that reaction like when they got a chance to play on it?
All positive.
Yeah.
They just because they had been hearing about it for a few years and hearing about it, and so especially for those sophomores who kind of thought it was a long-term plan. Yes, and for it to finally to be ready. And as with any project, there's always potential hiccups. For us and for the high school to be able to didn't hesitate on our seasons at all, no disruptions. It worked out great.
You had to hire a new football coach as well. Eric Isidore stepped down. Tell me about taking over and how that process went.
We got Mark Kennedy, who's got a lot of experience in North Dakota, especially for a guy who's originally from Southern California. He's been up here his whole adult life. He's been doing an excellent job for us getting out. I think he's been in one of the things I talked to him about was I would always remember running into like Craig Bowl or ants at different high schools around the state. Like you'd run into South Hart and there'd be Craig Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, and I said, that's what our coach, that's, and Mark's been doing that.
That's fantastic.
He's getting North Dakota kids, so that's great.
To have that, you got a lot of change going on here. You talk about building a baseball field. Describe just the energy that's around not just the athletic department, but the entire school right now.
Yeah, we've got a lot of positive things going with the school. I mean, there's so much going on academically with our CTE programs, diesel, dental, all the allied health. I'm not qualified to do it justice. So, but that everything is a synergy that happens on campus, and so. Right now, we've got the turf is here for the indoor turf. Okay, so that's going to get laid down.
That's a huge deal.
And so we'll be able to do more for the outdoor sports. We've got a baseball field it won't be a game field by any means, but it'll allow us to have practices more around our schedule. It's a class project, so it isn't costing us hardly anything. So we're going to have students.
So the labor is the students?
The labor is our students. We got some really, Jeff Jelnick he had his surveying class out here, and they surveyed all the land.
Wow.
He's got the plans. I mean, it's
that's
great
amazing
when you have that at your disposal.
What is that reaction for the students to be able to have a chance to actually your work is going to be matched here for people to see?
Right, and we'll get something where anybody worked on that field will have have their name on there in a that I built this field in 2026, awesome. And they get to go out there on their heavy equipment and take that out and see what it can do. So
you're a busy man then. I know it's the end of June. You think, things are starting to wind down. That is, especially athletic administration, there really isn't any downtime, right?
Right, and I have a trouble with downtime anyway. So if I'm not down, if I have a free moment, I'm probably umpiring then. So, that's the fun thing about being in athletics is you can always find something that you can be doing.
Describe the anticipation for this. I know we're still a couple months away with the upcoming athletic year and what's on tap for 26-27.
Yeah, so in 26-27, we've got our women's soccer team. We got a new coach there. He's been recruiting. We got 2 girls from Shanley coming down here, so that'll be good. So I expect our soccer to make a big jump this year. We're going to be competitive in volleyball and football and basketball
Always,
and the whole, softball again. This will be our last year in the Mondac Conference, and then in 27-28 we're moving over to the MCAC. The next 2 years we got quite a bit going on.
What do you make of that, of moving into a new league in a couple of years?
Yeah, there's no perfect situation. Yeah. It's for us, it's a combination of travel, money. We were only scholarship in basketball and volleyball, and we were only 50% funded. So we could compete in our conference quite well, but it wasn't like we were doing it on a national level. No. So it's one of those decisions you have to, you just have to make, whereas we've been really successful at the national level in softball, football, so
basketball. Yes.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things that you figure out the best situation.
I haven't had a chance to ask you about this. With Bismarck State's move, how much did that trickle down and hit you guys and affect you guys?
Probably more than you realize, just because scheduling.
That's the first thing I thought of. Yeah.
Having, now you'd have to look at playing teams 3 or 4 times a year, and that's not a great situation.
No.
It puts a big hole in the travel too. So
totally.
Going to Minnesota, we can play 16 different schools, and none of them are further than Bismarck.
Yeah.
So, when you bring in Miles City and Dawson out there,
that's a long ways to go.
It was not an easy decision to make.
Yeah.
But as you break it down, it's just one of those things.
Well, I got you here. I'm always interested in umping and asking you. You see now the ABS system is very popular in the major leagues. You worry that's going to put umps out of jobs going forward? That this is going to be they're going to use it more and more going forward?
I don't think it'll. Someday they will, because technology is technology. AI. There's still going to be things like box that are going to have to be worked out. A lot of that is eye of the beholder still. Where you probably still need a human for. I'm okay with the ABS. I kind of think if they're going to do it, they could do it just every pitch. They've got the technology, just have it ready, just have a thing on the belt that clicks or something and go with that.
Well, the one thing, I'm interested in your opinion on this, Reg, is that I think we found out how good the umpiring is. Like when guys have challenged and they have been wrong, it's like it's within millimeters of being a strike or a ball.
Oh, I guarantee it. And they and especially the younger guys.
Yeah.
The ones that and I'm not alibiing for Angel Hernandez or CB, but when they came up, it was more about just being consistent than it was being correct. And I'll even say that if I had an ABS on me now, I'd probably cry, I'd be embarrassed. But the guys who have been trained, so I think the human eye can be trained to it. It's just, it's tough on those guys who had 20 years of MLB experience.
Yes.
And they've been calling a pitch that maybe it is a baseball and a half off the plate, but it's there every time. I mean, look at Maddox and Glavine; they're in the Hall of Fame because of that.
Correct.
So
is there whether a call or two that stand out to you that you made like, I don't know if that one I did not feel good about that.
Oh, I could probably be here all day with calls that I made that I didn't feel good. There was one time in Gary, Indiana, where I was a part of it. It was an infield fly that didn't get called.
Okay.
It was Joliet playing Gary, and by the time everything was done, Halanier was ejected. About half of his team was ejected. They had 9 guys to finish the game, and it was a train wreck. So that's one that I always remember about. When you talk about infield flies and stuff, that's one where it went wrong and it just got wronger.
Were you supposed to call? Like, were you the one that didn't call it?
No, thank God I wasn't. That's probably why I remember it better. But I mean, I've had other here's one that I goofed up. And it didn't come back to Hom. We were in Calgary, and Juan Thomas was up to bat for Calgary, and it was the bottom of the 9th. Winnipeg had their closer on. This is Halanier again. Yeah. And Juan was a big guy. He looked a lot like Frank Thomas, and he chops one off the area around home plate, and it should be the 3rd out. And for whatever reason, I said foul. I said it got his leg. I mean, it just sounded funny off the dirt. And, it should have been the 3rd out, game over for Winnipeg. The next pitch, he hits, and hits the top of the wall. They had a double-tier wall there. Hits the top of the wall, comes back into play, gets thrown out at 3rd for the 3rd out. Winnipeg wins by a run. He drove in 2. He was a tying run. So I dodged the bullet that day. Hal was up on the top step just waiting. And then on the way out, we had to go down. We had to walk away with the visiting team to get to the clubhouse, which was down left field line. And he's a good sport. He goes, what was going to happen if Thomas scores? I'm like, I was well aware.
There's an argument coming. Oh, my gosh. That's great. It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for popping by here. Yep. Have a great summer. We'll talk again soon, okay? Reggie Jackson joining us, NDSCS Athletic Director here as we're down at Skip Butte Stadium in Wahpeton. We'll take a break. Final half hour of the show. We'll get a couple more guests stopping by. Cody Mauch. And we're back live on Hot Mic on DY Extra right after this.
This is Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Mauch's 3rd annual high school football camp. Great to have Wade Gilbertson joining us, Wahpeton head football coach. And he was just checking out the the new digs here. I'll talk about that in a second. But first, tell me about being involved in this again and seeing the turnout, which, again, is amazing for this camp.
Yeah, and it's the second year now in a row that we've got 2 separate sessions because of all the kids that want to take part in this. It's great to have this come to our community. It's really nice to have it at our stadium and at Science School Stadium on the new turf, show off that field a little bit, have some big names come into town and teach the kids a little bit of football, football. We continue to do this for as many years as we possibly can.
Cody told top of the show he had a little kid yesterday out at Summon.
Good.
Can't wait to be there again. Tell me about that, about the reaction this age kids, of how big a deal he is to come back every year and do this.
I get messages as well, and I know that he's obviously more popular, but I get messages. I'll get emails, I'll get text messages, I'll get people coming up to me in public asking, when is this going to happen? We're waiting, and so that, I guess, speaks volumes about how popular he is around these parts and how popular this camp is around these
Well,
parts.
it's crazy. I mean, it's been 4 years now since he played at NDSU. I know he's playing in the NFL, but the popularity level hasn't sagged. If anything, it might have gone the other way for him over the last little bit, right?
Absolutely. Everybody knows him now even more than ever. It's great for our community. It's great for Richland County and just great for North Dakota as well.
What's your official duties today out here?
Well, I am probably further down than I have been previously because it's not over on our practice field at the high school now. So I'm kind of sitting back and for this and go for that.
Monilaws told me he's a rover. Is that a good way to describe you as well?
Okay. Me, yeah. And I'm far beneath Coach Money. Far beneath Coach Money.
So tell me about this project. I've been down here many a time in the end of September when the field would be unplayable, and yet you'd still have 2 or 3 more games to play on it, to see this, hear about it, but then have it be a reality. What was that like for you and your team to actually have a chance to play on it this past fall?
It's a breath of fresh air and injected, I think, into our program a little bit and probably into Science School's program as well. We even had a couple of our camp practices earlier in the summer over here at the stadium, and our kids remarked that they absolutely love it.
I bet.
Nothing against our practice field because that's obviously our home, but it is really nice to have this place and really nice to have this field because of the excitement that it brings to the kids and I think to the community as well.
Well, you were telling me off air how bad the crown was in the middle. You couldn't see the other side of the field, right?
I've hired assistants in the past that have never been to Wahpeton, and they sometimes have asked if they can put a stepladder on the field so that they can see the opposite hash. The crown was that bad, yeah.
What was it like out there first time playing? And what was just for you and seeing the kids' reaction the first time playing on it?
Yeah, and we honestly didn't get to practice on it more than once before we played on
wild.
it. It was done, and then bam, games were starting. But coming out here that first time was everybody kind of had wide eyes, kind of had lower jaw a little bit, and it took us a couple of minutes of kind of gazing around at this beautiful field turf, and after that it was business as usual. But yeah, we had a little bit of excitement.
Did it change how, not necessarily maybe your team played, I don't know the best way to phrase it, but hey, we can do different things as a team now with a surface like this?
Yeah, it put us on equal footing, I think, with other teams, as our kids would and coaching staff would always see other teams that were getting the turf. And to me it felt like we are on equal footing with these teams now. Hopefully that kind of excitement can reach into our student body. We get more kids maybe excited to come out for football. I just think it's a great thing. It's nothing but positives.
So a couple weeks ago before I went on vacation, I was digging through some video. Your finale last fall was against Fargo South. You beat them to keep them out of the playoffs. Let's start with that. How big a deal was that for your team to go and play a game like that, to spoil it for somebody else and get a win?
Well, we were coming into the game in last place. And our season, obviously, we weren't going to the playoffs. And I hate to say the word disappointment, but it didn't exactly work out the way that we wanted to.
Especially after the year you had prior.
We finished in the top 4. And then come back the next season and lose a number of football games. But then it speaks a lot to our character as our team. It speaks a lot to what the kids did for us this season and how hard they worked for us this season, that we were able to come in without winning a football game all season and come into that last game and to be able to put up a performance like we did that night. And it rolls into the next year, I firmly believe. I think that momentum build at the end of last season is going to roll into this one.
That was my next question. Do you feel like that you can take that, even though it was end of October, into a new year in August?
Absolutely do. And my hat's off to all of our players and our staff as well for keeping that work ethic last year, even though we're 0-5, we're 0-6, we're 0-7. We're playing some really good teams in the East and statewide, really. And to keep us rolling as a program, trying to build that momentum, my hat's off to everybody, because I think everybody knows that it does roll into that next season.
Now, the third part of the question is, because I was doing that because Drew Kessel just committed, and you had to see him up close.
Yeah.
Tell us about what kind of football player, for those that haven't seen him, obviously he's going to play at Moorhead next year, what kind of football player he is and can be at the next level.
When we're watching film against them last season, that's probably 80% of my time was watching where he's at.
Where 17 was at,
and defensively, right? Dynamic football player, and I think that he's only going to grow and get better in the future. He's going to get into a college program, and he is going to build himself into quite a dynamic football player, more so than he already is, and he already is
pretty darn good right now.
Pretty darn good, absolutely.
So I was joking off air and I was talking with Money about this. Once the 4th of July comes, I always feel like, all right, it's football is right around the corner. Is that the same for you? Like, knowing you guys start camp, what is it, August 6th, I want to say, is the first day of practice?
Yep.
And it's not that far away, honestly.
It absolutely is not. I'm going to take a breath here after this camp today and then immediately get back to work, because it's probably going to be about July 6th, right? And then and it's all go from there. We do have a small mini camp that's coming up in late July. And then after that, we start August 6th, and I couldn't be more excited. Right?
Numbers-wise, how do you hearing for upcoming year for Wahpeton?
We had 9 kids at our first mini camp of the summer.
That's really good.
And that was really good. That's more than we've ever before. We're hoping to finish somewhere in the 45-50 range, 9 through 12. And that pretty much fits our population here in Wahpeton. Yes, we'd love to have 60, 70, 80 kids. Probably not realistic for a school our size, though. So if we can get to that 45-50 range, we're going to be just fine.
When you talk about that, and some may have a hard time, even older folks, saying, well, how is Wahpeton not in the bigger class? Fargo South, I have to remind people, isn't either. That's the reality of where we're at, that this is the level that you guys feel like you'd be most successful. And obviously you're 2 years removed from having a heck of a year. You feel like we can do that. We've proven it. We can do that again now in 2026.
No question, and it is as competitive as can be in the state of North Dakota in our division. And there are some very good football players, as we just talked about. Kindred's got a couple of great football players.
Right.
Red River, Central, they've all got guys that are going on to the next level, and some of them the very big next level. And so it's super competitive. But like we were able to prove to people a couple of years ago, we can finish in the top 4. We can be a play or two or a quarter away from the championship game and realize our dreams as a program. So I do think that this is where we belong. And if we get a couple of kids that can realize their potential, I don't see why we can't be back in that position again very soon.
Just kick out those Minot North guys. They get up to the AAA, and then everything will be a little bit more competitive, right?
Yes, sir.
Although you do have those Kindred guys. That's legit stuff, man. Not too far from where we're at right now. That's pretty big boys that are going to Clemson and Minnesota.
Yeah, right?
It's unbelievable. Yep. It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Us. Absolutely. And we'll talk again when football gets going,
Let's do
okay?
it. All right.
Wade Gilbertson joining us, Wahpeton head football coach here on set. We'll take our final break, come back, see if we can wrangle Nash Jensen maybe for a few minutes, and then we'll set up what's going to be a big Sports Monday. Mike Raps on WDAY Extra right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Wrapping things up here. Quick moving show, as they always are, live on location, is Cody Mauch's football camp. 3rd annual is underway. Another session coming up later today. We'll have much more on it on our news tonight. You can check that out at 6 and 10. We save the best guest for last. I don't care if anybody hears it. My guy Nash Jensen joining us, former Bison All-American offensive lineman. It's been a couple of years in the National Football League. How are we doing, man? How you been?
I've been great. Just being a dad, being a coach these days, get to have fun.
I heard you
retired when I got come from the UFL, and then as soon as back, I started emailing Coach Peterson, calling minutes after I gig right away, and it's been super fun so far.
How excited are you for that, for this upcoming fall, of taking what you know now to apply that to high school ranks?
Yeah, that's something I've always wanted to do. It's super exciting. And the guys that I inherited a pretty good offensive line room, I think. So I've been having a lot of fun so far.
Can't wait to see you on the sideline. That's going to be fantastic. Tell me about today. Cody call you up and say, hey, I need a favor? How did that go about?
Yeah, actually I asked.
Oh.
I wanted to get out here, and it's one of the best things that you can do as an NFL player or a former NFL player is get some kids out here, get them out here to have a lot of fun playing football.
I know you've told this story probably too many times to count, but I'm going to ask you again about your first interactions with Cody and what that was like, building that relationship early on for both you guys.
Yeah, so just see this big, at that time, skinny kid walking in with no 2 front teeth. We got a great relationship really fast, and getting to play next to him for 3 years and just maul people, then get to go to the next level together for a year or two. It's a lot of fun. We've been close ever since we stepped on campus.
You got to play right away before he did. What was that experience like for you to give him some advice, so to speak, that this is what, playing starting wise is different for you than it was for him?
Yeah, I mean, it was way different for him. I mean, he came in, started at the DN, moved to tight end, then randomly Coach Riley just calls him over, come play offensive line for us. It wasn't much teaching. He always had it in him from the moment that he stepped into the Ram room. And we just fed off of each other. We had a lot of fun out there the 3 years we got to.
Yeah, that offensive line, I think we've talked about it. Maybe we have it on air, that photo I posted with you guys and the offensive line in the National Football League.
I saw that.
What went through your mind seeing that?
It's just crazy. You could give so much credit to the coaches that we had, not just our offensive line coaches, but just the development that we had growing up in that room, and from top to bottom, just always working as hard as we possibly could to help each other win, and eventually that many guys on that team get to the next level is crazy.
Two last things for it. To see two of your former teammates start next to one another in the Super Bowl as offensive linemen, what that mean to you?
I was staring at them the whole time. My eyes were glued on the screen right at the left guard and center position. I'm so happy for them. They're two of the best humans that you could meet ever. Jalen's got Kalisa and his daughter now, and Gray's always doing his thing, whatever he's doing. I couldn't be happier for them.
Last thing, I haven't asked you now. North Dakota State is going to become. Your thoughts on the Mountain West Conference and what that means for Bison football?
I think it's long overdue. It's a next step that we've always wanted to take, I think. We're finally taking it, and to see where it's going to be really exciting to watch where it's going. Just from the weight room to everywhere, Knapp's got them working.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really exciting to watch.
I was asking Cody this before I let you go. Is there anybody that you remember that's currently on the team, or is it all graduated out now? Is there anybody you know anymore?
I think Nathan Hayes was.
He was a redshirt freshman, right?
Freshman.
Yeah.
It's very sparse these days. You're making me feel old.
Yeah,
I'm only 27
you feel
years old.
Holy cow! It's great to see you, man. Happy belated Father's Day as well. Thanks for doing this, and enjoy the camp today. Okay.
I will.
Nash Jensen joining us here on set, former Bison All-American offensive lineman, part of Cody Mauch's football camp. Pretty cool stuff, and. Fun day here today. As we mentioned, we'll have much more coverage coming up on our news tonight at 6 and 10. You'll hear from Cody and some of the campers getting a chance to be down here. I mean, the fact they get a chance to work with an NFL offensive lineman and a former NFL offensive lineman in Wahpeton, North Dakota, just doesn't happen all that often. So appreciate them sharing some time and being invited to come down here again. We've done this now each of the last couple of years of doing the show. It's been fantastic. And anytime they're going to have it, we will be down here because it's a blast to be here and a chance to chat some football at the end of June, which is normally not something we get an opportunity to do, but certainly today a heck of a lot of fun to be able to share that today. All right, we're running out of showtime already. Let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. Okay, here we go. As I mentioned earlier in the show, what a week for the Minnesota Twins. The weather looks like it's going to be pretty good. The Los Angeles Dodgers are coming to Target Field. Game 1 tonight, 6:30 on Twins TV to start this 3-game set. The Dodgers are what they are. right? They've won the last 2 world championships. They bring in the best player maybe in the history of the game. Other than that, not much else happening with that baseball team. You got Mookie Betts, you've got everybody. 6:30 tonight is the Twins start a home series with the Dodgers. Also, we mentioned it's the final collegiate sporting event of the year tonight. Oklahoma and North Carolina, 6 o'clock on ESPN. There's an alternate cast as well available on ESPNU. Whoever wins this wins the Collegiate Baseball National Championship. There is some distinct North Dakota connections. We mentioned Oklahoma has Drew Rarick on their roster, who's out with a labrum injury for the Fargo Davies alum. And obviously North Carolina's starting shortstop is Jake Schaffner from North Dakota State. So we'll be keeping an eye on that tonight. And for your World Cup Rubes, from my guy Wahpeton, Norway has Erling Haaland, who might be the 3rd best player in the world. They play Senegal tonight on Fox at 7 o'clock. The Norwegians routed in their first game. Senegal, the United States beat in a friendly before the World Cup. That should be a good match coming up tonight, 7 o'clock on Fox. That'll wrap up our show here today from Wahpeton. And thanks to our guests today, to Cody and Joe Mauch for joining us, to Jason Monilaws, Reggie Jackson. I'm going to forget a couple of others, Wade Gilbertson, and to Nash Jensen for joining us here on set. We're back in studio tomorrow to continue the week. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody, here live on location in Wahpeton. We'll see everyone back tomorrow.